Biography 7. Caesar, the Eternal Conqueror. Julius Caesar was born in Rome on either the 12th or 13th of July in 100 BC in a crowded neighborhood called the Suburra. His full name was Gaius Julius Caesar, but history often remembers him simply as Caesar, the dictator, or even as the father of the fatherland. He came from the ancient patrician family of the gens Julia, who claimed to be descendants of Aeneas and the goddess Venus. Although he began his life in a struggling and politically unstable society, he carried with him the heritage of one of the oldest and most respected Roman families. His birth placed him at the heart of Roman traditions, politics, and ambition, and his name would one day shape the course of history forever. Caesar lived during the final century of the Roman Republic, a time of deep political corruption, instability, and rivalry among powerful men. The Senate was weakened by constant disputes, and the Republic's system of checks and balances was eroding. While Rome's borders were expanding through wars in Gaul, Britain, and the East, the city itself was threatened by poverty, unrest, and violence in the streets. The rise and fall of alliances, such as the First Triumvirate, revealed the growing competition for ultimate control. This was the stage on which Caesar acted, a man both shaped by and shaping a world in transition, from a proud republic of old traditions to the beginning of an empire that would dominate for centuries. As a boy, Caesar's childhood was filled with the turbulence of Roman politics. His family's noble status gave him connections, but not always wealth or security. During the dictatorship of Sulla, Caesar faced dangers that nearly cost him his life. Yet he learned early the value of caution, survival, and political skill. He studied rhetoric, philosophy, and military matters, gaining both education and ambition. His early public duties included service as a priest, known as the Flamen Dialis, and later as a military tribune, exposing him to both religious ceremonies and the discipline of armies. By the time he became quaestor in Hispania, he had already shown a talent for leadership, resourcefulness, and the ability to win people's loyalty, even while heavily in debt. His career truly began to rise with bold political alliances. Around 60 BC, he joined forces with Pompey the Great and Crassus to form the First Triumvirate, a pact that gave them unmatched influence over Rome. But it was his military campaigns that made him a legend. From 58 to 51 BC, Caesar led the Roman armies in the Gallic Wars, defeating tribes, building a daring bridge across the Rhine, and even launching expeditions into Britain. His victories expanded Rome's territory and his personal fame. In 49 BC, he made a daring move by crossing the Rubicon River with his army, igniting a civil war. Against all odds, he defeated Pompey at the Battle of Pharsalus, pursued him into Egypt, and continued victorious across Asia. His triumphs not only brought him immense power, but also changed the destiny of the Roman world. As ruler, Caesar turned his focus to reform. He expanded the Senate, extended citizenship to many outside Italy, and reorganized the distribution of land and grain. His introduction of the Julian calendar reshaped time itself, giving us the basis of the calendar we still use today, with the month of July named in his honor. He founded colonies, planned public works, and attempted to heal divisions that had torn Rome apart. By early 44 BC, He was appointed Dictator Perpetuo, Dictator for life, a title that gave him unmatched authority. To his supporters, he was a visionary leader restoring order and progress. To his enemies, he was a dangerous figure who threatened to destroy the Republic. Caesar's personality combined ambition, charisma, and strategic brilliance. He had the rare ability to inspire soldiers, charm the public, and outmaneuver rivals. He was famous for his mercy, often pardoning defeated enemies rather than killing them, though some saw this as calculated rather than compassionate. His own words, "Veni, vidi, vici." I came, I saw, I conquered, became a symbol of his confidence and speed in victory. Writers and historians admired his commentaries, clear accounts of his campaigns, while many senators feared he sought to crown himself king. To some, he was a genius whose reforms saved Rome. To others, he was a tyrant dismantling liberty. Yet his rise was not without resistance. Caesar faced powerful opponents throughout his life, first Sulla, then the Senate's conservatives, later Pompey, and finally conspirators like Brutus and Cassius. Rome's elite feared his growing power and his disregard for old republican traditions. Rumors spread that he wished to make himself king, a word Romans hated, since they had once expelled their monarchs. On the 15th of March, 44 BC, known forever as the Ides of March, Caesar entered the theater of Pompey for a Senate meeting. There, he was surrounded by senators and stabbed 23 times, a shocking assassination that ended his life, but not his influence. Caesar's death marked both an ending and a beginning. The republic he had shaken collapsed soon after, and civil war returned. Out of the chaos rose his adopted heir, Octavian, later Augustus, who established the Roman Empire. Caesar's name lived on, becoming a title for emperors: Caesar, Kaiser, Tsar. He was remembered in art, literature, and plays like Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, where a soothsayer warns, "Beware the Ides of March." Legends even told of a bright comet appearing after his death, called the Star of Caesar, as if the heavens confirmed his deification. His memory has remained, a symbol of both greatness and the dangers of unchecked power. Today, Julius Caesar's story still resonates across the world. He stands as an example of courage, intelligence, and vision, but also as a reminder of ambition's risks and the fragile balance between authority and freedom. His calendar shaped how we mark our days. His strategies are studied in military schools, and his life continues to inspire books, films, and lessons about leadership. His rise and fall remind us that history is not only about power, but about people, their choices, their flaws, and their legacies that outlast centuries. Caesar's life remains both a triumph and a warning, echoing through time as one of history's most dramatic tales.